Hello, my name is Andrea Castillo. I am the Children's Therapeutic Skills Worker at CLUS. Today, I'm going to present how to manage stress during times of adversities. This is a video of the many part of a series of uh, videos to help parents and children deal with difficulties of online learning. And so I invite you to watch the rest of the videos. Um, in in social media. So right now we're going to start with our presentation. I'm going to share the PowerPoint. Managing stress in times of adversity. What is stress and toxic stress? 3 points. One is stress is a sensation that we feel in our mind and body when we feel worried, pressured by something. It can be a reaction of the body to a threat, a challenge, or danger. Not all stress is bad. For example, what is toxic stress? This is when a person experiences adversity that is strong, frequent, and prolonged in a time that no one can help as much or have the appropriate tools to manage it. How does our body respond to stress? First, our brain perceives danger, either real or imaginary. Our lungs are filling with air because our body needs more oxygen. Our muscles contract to prepare our body to either fight or flight. Our heart pumps more blood to our body. Our stomach contract because our muscles need more blood. Our liver um, liberates glucose in great extension because it needs more. Our body needs extra energy. So we think that stress is just a feeling, but it really is in connection with our body. Our body feels it in response and sends signals to us. Um, how do we combat stress? The key ideas here are to think about our self-care. You know, we go through a stress maybe consistently with helping our kids go online to online school and complete their homework, or because of our job or many tasks to do at home, right? There's many stressors that people are going through right now, and the things that we should look at first should be our self-care. What does that mean, self-care? It actually means the daily habits that we have that that will help us kind of with our mind, body, spirit, habits that will um, not just help us but prevent um, any maybe like burnout, prevent more stress, right, or toxic stress. So self-care is actually a revolutionary act. If we think about it, taking care of ourselves before we take care of others or do any awesome things, we need to take care of ourselves first. So here is 10 tips to think about what can you do or modify in your day or be more aware of your own habits that you can maybe improve. From the American Heart Association, there's 10 tips about managing or combating stress, which is taking more time to um, plan or organize your day, routine, the environment, right? We do best when we kind of have a sense of how our day will go. We can go through our day more smoothly, less stress, and actually enjoy more. For us, adult is important, and for children is extremely more important. Children cannot manage that on their own, so they need an adult to help them know what their day is gonna look like, look through their classes schedule in the morning, remind them about how, you know, how their day, about the times that they're gonna eat, waking up, going to bed. That is all part of the environment and routine. Sleeping more. Sleeping more is being aware of how much time you take to prepare to go to bed and then actually sleep. So taking care of your sleep is really important as an adult, and for children is always having at least 8 hours and a little bit more of sleep, right? Having a good hygiene routine at night. Maybe getting them and yourself ready to go to bed at a certain time at the same time most of the days. Third is leave worriness aside. So how do we do that? Maybe um, we realize the more we worry, the more we feel that we're not getting things done, and maybe the more we feel that we're not feeling good, right? So being mindful that worrying is okay. We need to worry to push ourselves to do things, but how can this worry turn into an action? Maybe planning. How can you what can you do to address this? What is in your control, not in your control? How to take care of yourself afterwards, giving yourself praise, um, and also putting time aside to think about this worry for 15 an hour at most, and then not worrying about that afterwards, knowing that you've done your best, and then you should just leave it, or at least leave the rest, um, let, read, leave the rest aside. Laughing helps a lot, finding moments, looking for those connections to really laugh. The fifth is connecting. We're isolated, so it's really difficult um, to kind of take care of ourselves, and feeling connected is already an action of self-care, right? So trying to be maybe in groups, calling someone that you know, texting someone that you know that is a friend, trying to do more like Zoom calls or video calls, um, doing getting to know your neighbor from far away, right? Number six is organize. So how can we organize more our day that it helps us be more efficient and actually leave us room to do some self-care, right? Seven, practice actions in community. So being part of something is really important. Being part of doing crafts with other people, maybe volunteering for something, right? Or doing something, a project that you've been wanting to do, will be part of a support. Number eight, maintaining active every day. How can we meet our activity, or how can we move more? If we think about it like that, we move more when we take breaks and walk to take something to drink. Maybe we walk outside if it's comfortable. Maybe we do some online videos of dancing with your kids. Maybe you dance with your family. Maybe you do yoga, or find videos that will do some movement during your day, or simply you want to clean, and maybe cleaning is the best way that you move around, right? So implementing movement during the day and inviting your kids and family members to be part of in a fun way. Um, Ninth, leave bad habits. So during this time, we have to be aware of drinking, alcohol, tobacco use, right? In extreme, it can really be harmful, and it can actually make you more stressed in the long term. So, or affect the stressors. Um, so really thinking about what habits can you change to really take care of yourself with your food, with drinking enough water, with exercising, with a good habit of um, of preparing your meals at home, of actually connecting with others, or even practicing more positive self-talk. Right? And the last one is choosing things that you can change rather than ones that you can't. So, we can worry about all the things that can go wrong and that are not going well, but that we have no control or not much control of, right? What action can we take to feel that we are, doing something? Or what can we do at home to make an impact, right? Taking care of yourself is already a revolutionary act. So that is already, trying to change the world by taking care of yourself and your children and family members. Now that we talked about ways to alleviate your stress, we also want to help you with the strategies and how can you help your children, right, respond differently when they are in stress, when they um, are crying or have a meltdown, right? We all have seen that. And it's so hard because you have your own feelings and you're trying to take care of yourself. But co-regulation um, is what is doing things together. They learn best when they see you doing it, right? And co-regulation means adults in the care of children aren't the main shapers of their self-regulation, which means how can they best respond to their big feelings? What can they do? That's a great skill is emotional intelligence, right? That these are the foundations. These are the um, the examples that they're going to use when they become adults to respond to stressors in a healthy way and know how can know themselves also about what is best for them. So as an adult or as a caregiver, depending on their age, your response or care regulation is going to be different. Three main points about co-regulation. Your role is to really teach and coach these skills ahead of time. Um, for example, if your baby is 3 or 4 or a year old or 5 months old or maybe 3, around that time we're really emphasizing social emotional development, right? We're teaching them phases of feelings. We're telling them how we feel. When we see our kids crying, it looks like you're mad or it looks like you're sad, right? You have a sad face, a worry face. Um, Pointing out their feelings and yours. So those are the foundations of this. And when your kid is 5 years old, they understand a little bit more. They probably already know some feelings, and you want to encourage them to use them, and you want to encourage them now to redirect them on what to do with that feeling. Right? And when they become a teenager, maybe 10, 11 years old, they still need some support with how to problem solve and looking at problem solving more often. Right? um, and kind of redirecting them, but more about problem solving problems together. But when they're a little bit younger, you can kind of redirect them and do it with them. Right? Let's take a break and breathe. It's really important that we regulate your emotion by identifying them first, and then responding to what can make you feel more calm before you kind of problem solve, before you respond and react. Right? Um, And like I said, it's important that the second part is provide a warm and responsive relationship. We need to know our kids, what triggers them, what is difficult during their day, how do they feel, right? And see and try with them ways to see what makes them feel better. Maybe it's drying, maybe it's um, you doing some breathing techniques. And that means that you have to learn how to do the breathing techniques. You gotta do it with them too, maybe by imagining blowing candles, actually having balloons and blowing onto a balloon, or maybe walking around and breathing and closing your eyes, or maybe it depends on what they need. Maybe your child has a lot of energy and needs to channel that energy in a different way. So finding ways to, it looks like maybe you need to walk around, maybe you need to, what if we jump together? What if we take a break? So encouraging those skills, because that is going to be a foundation to how they respond later on. And also you're building their vocabulary for feelings and how to take care of themselves. So the third component is structure of the environment. There's a video already that talks about the environment and how can we kind of modify and think about their environment. So what it really is the routine. How are your children doing with their routine? How are you teaching them? Um, how are you being part of the routine, kind of a structure in a way that is the healthiest for them? Going to bed early, having maybe visuals of what to expect throughout the day, talking about those visuals with them if they're really young, right? Um, like dressed up time, and encouraging their independence. You know, you have done this with me, let's do it. I believe that you can do this together. Put your shoes on, or having each step somewhere in your house that they feel like they have a sort of a guidance. Um, those are the three main components of like co-regulation, and your role teaching your children to co-regulate. Some key words that I want to share today are modifying the way we say things. Words matter a lot. Children listen to these words and they feel, either they shut down or either they um, escalate even more. We want to really teach them and model them the ways to address things and to respond to things more calmly, and to actually help them, not give them more anxiety, but help them ease their anxiety. So instead of saying, for example, one, be quiet, right? Sometimes we just want to like things to be quiet down. And what if they're at home, they're playing, they're doing other things? We can teach them to use soft voice. Can you use soft voice today? Or can you use soft voice right now because I'm talking, I guess I'm working, or something like that, explaining them and also helping them do something else that they can do. Using the word, we can resolve this together. We can resolve this together. Let's put your worries aside, or let's put your worries on the shelf, and while we wait, let's color. This feeling will go away. Let's get comfortable while we wait. Reassuring that you're there to help them. Instead of saying, what a mess is this room, oh, everything is, all the toys are everywhere. Instead of that, you can say, it looks like you played, you're having a lot of fun. What if we clean up? Instead of saying, let me do it for you, we can say, I believe you can do this. Or instead of saying, I explained you already this, don't you understand? You can say, maybe I can show you in a different way. I believe we can do this together. And instead of saying, are you okay? How are you feeling is the question. 4 steps that I want you to think about coaching your kids' skills is to help them think about in a scenario when we respond to something or something makes us feel really stressed. We don't have a time to stop and kind of switch our response, right? But this 4th step, the stop, breathe, think, and act, it's really helpful because we want to prepare them on how to calm down and use their skills to respond differently. And sometimes they don't know how to respond differently. They don't know what to say differently instead of, instead of looking at something as a big problem. So we can help them when they are feeling good, when nothing is going on, when you're connecting with them uh, during like calm times. You can kind of draw together in a scenario that they often struggle, right? You can talk about ways to respond. Can you ask for help? What if you're playing with their toys, maybe you can do a puppet story, with a scenario that they struggle most, and how can they respond, and show them so they have an idea of how to respond to something. All right. And the breathing is just the skill that they used. Maybe they use a different one. Maybe they did a different coping skill that actually helped them, and I praise them and recognize that. So the 4 things as an adult, 4 things to remember is to always show calm, to always show calmness when the stressful situation will arise, right? If your child, you notice your child is getting upset and it's gonna escalate, you want to help them first identify the emotion that they're having by saying, it looks like you're getting mad. What can you do? Do you remember what we practiced? Do you, I think you need a break, or maybe you just need, they just need to hear you do this instead, right? Depending on their age. Or they need to do it with you. Maybe you need to take them aside and breathe and look in them at the eye and say, what do you need? Maybe we can take some deep breathing, right? And then after they get calm, recognize that they need to you need to problem solve this together. Resolving conflicts. Four things, well, a couple of tips to resolve conflicts and to show your kids on how to resolve them is to stay calm, first of all, to speak for yourself, to address the feeling that you're having, address the behavior, the situation that is making you feel that way, um, welcoming that conversation, right, in an assertive way, um, not using the words never, always, you're always doing this, you're never doing that, everything is always the same, nothing is working, right? Avoiding those words because it just escalates the situation and really it doesn't go anywhere. Maybe you might not end up resolving the problem or teaching your child um, how to confront this stressor, right? And always speaking calmly. These are a couple of tips that I hope that are helpful in your life, and that you think about your self-care, you think about how do you practice, how do you problem solve, how do you take care of your emotions and your needs, and then how can you do that same for your kids, um, and structure their routine, respond to them, and do a small steps with these tools that you already have. Thank you for your time. And the quote that I'm going to use right now is that in moments of adversity, we wake up talents that we never thought we have, that during times of calmness, they just sleep. So remember that every day we have um, new challenges um, that we can meet some challenges when we work on these things more often, right? When we work on the skills that we need to meet those challenges, and that at the end is all about the learning, and not about how can we, change all of this um, or get the things that we want all the time. It's about the learning. So I want you to think about that, and I hope you like this presentation. Thank you.